watching BBN Tonight on your official UK sports station, LEX 18. Presented by Central Bank, the official bank of UK Athletics.
Welcome back to BBN Tonight. Following a challenging 2020 season, UK football has landed a host of intriguing prospects for the 2021 recruiting class.
Following yesterday's additional signings of Trey Wallace and Luke Fulton, here's a look at Mark Stoops' haul for next season. The list of 21 players includes 5 who have 4 stars with Rivals.com and 15 3-star players. For a breakdown of the class, let's check in with Justin Rowland of CatsIllustrated.com. Justin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Now, the Cats signed 2 linebackers this week. That's a position the Cats needed to beef up, especially with Jamin Davis heading to the NFL. How do you think the Kentucky staff has done in addressing their weaknesses, and where could Trey Wallace fit in next season?
Trey Wallace is the perfect marriage for this Kentucky program. I mean, and if Jamin Davis hadn't left, I don't think they would have gotten it. And you think about what a selling point it was to point at Jamin Davis and say, this guy was a lightly recruited 3-star recruit from Georgia, not too far from where you're from. He trusted the process. Nobody was expecting much from him this year, and he's going off to the NFL after his junior season. That's a pretty strong pitch. Kentucky's had a lot of success with linebackers in Georgia dating back to well before Mark Stoops got there. You know, John Sumrall did a fantastic job recruiting him, and I agree with the people that say when you just look at Trey Wallace's film, it's as impressive as any player Mark Stoops has signed. Now, that's a high bar. Does that mean he's going to impact the program the same way as somebody like Lynn Bowden, who touched the ball on every single play his last year? I don't know about that, but they've got a void at middle linebacker, and Trey Wallace is good enough to play as a true freshman in the SEC, and you can't say that about a lot of people.
I like the fact that he played about every position on the field, both offense and defense. I mean, so that makes me excited. I know he's athletic. Now, the other signing yesterday was Luke Fulton, transfer from Michigan State, another linebacker who also attended Cardinal Mooney, like Stoops, Merrill, and Courtney Love. What kind of player could he be for the Wildcats?
More help at middle linebacker, and they are very familiar with him because Kentucky recruited him very hard coming out of high school 2 years ago. So a lot of times when guys go into the portal, you got to do a lot of homework. You don't know what kind of player he is. He's not transferring from Michigan State because he can't play. There were some circumstances back in East Lansing that they did their due diligence on, and he's a guy that coming off the bus, he looks the part. He's big, he's physical, he's been in a good Power 5 program for 2 years, and that's more. I mean, they only got two high school linebackers signed, but when you think about Luke Fulton and you think about Justice Dingle at outside linebacker, that whole haul as a big picture looks pretty good.
Now, those were only 2 so far on National Signing Day as far as the spring period. Let's revisit some of players UK signed back in the fall, and what kind of impact was it to sign and keep a couple of Lexington guys home like Jagger Burton and DeKel Crowdis?
Well, Jagger Burton is right in line in a lineage with a lot of players that have had success at Kentucky. You think about Drake Jackson, you think about Landon Young, you think about even Mason Wolf. A lot of in-state offensive linemen have been really successful at Kentucky. And John Schlarman evaluated this guy. And, you know, he's not going to have the chance to coach him, unfortunately. But, you know, when Schlarman signed off on somebody and said, I want this guy, the whole staff trusted what he said. And they really wanted Jagger for a long time, and he's excited to be there. And, you know, DeKel Crowdis went down to IMG in Florida for a little while, came back up. If you watch that first game of the year between North Hardin and Frederick Douglass, they were getting the ball to him early and often. His speed, his quickness are undeniable, a true sub 4.4 guy, and they've needed speed at the receiver position. So I'm excited to see what both of those guys can do.
One guy I'm excited about, and you can tell us your expectations on Christian Lewis and how he might take to that Liam Cohen offense.
Yeah, he's a big, long, rangy receiver who was pretty well regarded coming into his senior season. And then he just blew up. Like, he was scoring 2-3 touchdowns a game against some of the best competition in Alabama. And he just didn't slow down. I mean, he was blowing the top off the defense. He was hitting the long post routes. He's showing good hands. He's just physically advanced. And then he goes to the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, and he's facing guys like JaQuincy McKinstry, who's like one of the top cornerbacks in the South, and he's holding his own against him. So it's very hard to recruit receivers when your offense isn't passing the ball well, and that's another guy John Sumrall did a fantastic job making the case to. I think he's going to have a big future.
Only got about 15 seconds left. You put out Akeem Hayes in the transfer portal. Surprised?
No, I think people have expected this for a while. They got a lot of receivers on scholarship, so I would expect even more attrition after this.
Justin, thanks so much. We always enjoy talking to you and look forward to doing it again soon. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, in our next segment on BBN Tonight, a look at how the football team is spending its off-season.
We'll take you to a recent event at Lex City Church involving a couple of familiar faces when we return.